Civilians caught in crossfire, trucks set ablaze, stolen vehicles, fallen soldiers, panic, confusion. On September 9th, 2024, at 5 a.m., Culiacan, Sinaloa, began to experience one of the most violent weeks in its history. It all started when Ismael Zambada Sicairos, also known as El Mayito Flaco, authorized his legion of hitmen to launch a ruthless offensive against the members of Los Chapitos, aiming to dominate Culiacan. In immediate retaliation, Los Chapitos fought back, igniting a fierce clash that resulted in numerous casualties and disappearances, thrusting the entire city into a state of deep uncertainty. This turmoil highlighted the government's involvement with organized crime groups. This conflict marks the most significant and violent schism within the Sinaloa Cartel. The offspring of its founders, Ismael El Mayo Zambada and Joaquin El Chapo Guzmán, have exploited the absence of their fathers to dissolve a long-standing pact of friendship and alliance and battle for control over Culiacan, the cartel's crown jewel. But how did this conflict begin? Who are the key players in each faction? What might be the consequences of this devastating dispute? In this episode of Illicit Investigations, we explore the roots of the confrontation between Los Mayos and Los Chapitos. We examine the drug lords backing each side and the territories at stake, and discuss potential outcomes to end this conflict. Stay tuned. Ismael Zambada Sicairos and Iván Archibaldo Guzmán Salazar, the two most powerful men in Sinaloa, thrust Culiacan into chaos and fear. On Monday, September 9th, just before 6 a.m., hitmen from La Mayos, Zambada's faction, were commanded to launch an attack on Los Chapitos' organization in southern Culiacan. The directive came from alias Comanche, the chief of security for El Mayito Flaco, who ordered his gunmen to initiate the assault. At that point, clashes erupted across multiple parts of the city. The army and civil guard attempted to neutralize the criminals, but confusion reigned. They couldn't distinguish which side the aggressors belonged to, and the hitmen's firepower outmatched them. Government forces suffered losses, but Comanche declared over the radio that their fight wasn't against the government. It was against the sons of El Chapo Guzmán, led by Iván Archibaldo and Jesus Alfredo. Throughout the week, the violence only escalated. Shootouts occurred without pause, day and night. Disappearances rose, and bodies marked with the symbols of La Chapiza and La Mayisa began appearing. Businesses and schools shut down. Public transportation halted, and residents barricaded themselves inside their homes, reminiscent of pandemic lockdowns. In Mexico City, President Andrés Manuel López Obrador blamed the U.S., claiming the conflict arose from the arrest of El Mayo Zambada. He labeled the clashes as isolated disputes between criminals. Yet, on social media and WhatsApp groups, videos of the violence grew more brutal and terrifying. Meanwhile, Governor Rubén Rocha Moya, dismissing the gravity of the situation, chose to fly to Los Angeles on Saturday, September 14th, just as the conflict escalated. Weeks after the arrest of El Mayo Zambada and Joaquin Guzmán López in New Mexico, El Mayito Flaco called a major meeting at a ranch in El Salado, Sinaloa, with his closest allies. The objective was to restructure the operations of his faction of the Sinaloa Cartel and devise a military strategy against Los Chapitos. El Mayito Flaco aimed to seize control of Culiacan, key routes to Sonora and Baja California, and continue contesting Zacatecas, while controlling rural zones between Sinaloa and Durango. The attendees included prominent figures: Juan José Ponce Felix, aka El Ruso, from Mexicali; René Arzate Garcia, alias La Rana, and his brother Aquiles from Tijuana; representatives of Grupo Flechas, led by Alejandro Cabrera from Durango; and several families from Sinaloa loyal to the Zambadas, like Los Rolandos. The special guest came from Guasave, Fausto Isidro Meza Flores, known as El Chapo Isidro, leader of the Beltran Leyva cartel, and one of Sinaloa's most powerful figures. The attendees pledged their support to El Mayito Flaco for a potential war against Los Chapitos, offering men and resources. Days later, El Mayito Flaco invited Ivan Archibaldo Guzmán to a meeting at a ranch in Oso Viejo, near Culiacan, with the intention of proposing a territorial division, which would essentially force Los Chapitos out of Culiacan. Ivan Archibaldo did not attend. From that moment on, El Mayito Flaco's hitmen were instructed to launch an assault on Los Chapitos, labeling them as traitors. The alliance between Chapo Isidro and El Mayito Flaco could permanently alter the structure of the Sinaloa Cartel, as together they possess the military power to diminish Los Chapitos. On the other hand, Ivan Archibaldo and Jesus Alfredo have the backing of groups like Los Chimales, Los del Cuarenta, Los Cascos, and Los Cocos, who serve as drug operators for the Guzman family, with significant manpower in Sinaloa. Likewise, Aureliano Guzman Loera, alias El Guano, an uncle of Los Chapitos with whom relations have been strained in recent years, decided to support them in the name of family loyalty. One of his sons, Alejandro Abdiel Guzman Araujo, alias El Gabacho, was the one who convinced him to support Los Chapitos. While El Guano holds little influence in Culiacan, he is known as El Señor de la Sierra due to his control over large parts of the Golden Triangle. However, the most crucial allies on each side are Governor Rubén Rocha Moya, with the state and municipal police supporting Los Chapitos, and Sedena backing El Mayito Flaco. The government sent hundreds of soldiers to Sinaloa to hunt for members of Los Chapitos. In a coordinated air and ground operation, Army forces captured Mario Alexander Gamez Cuevas, alias El Pilli, a high-ranking hitman for Los Chapitos, who had previously been part of Nestor Isidro Perez Salas's group, alias El Nini, before his capture in 2023. In this drone footage, you can see the moment when LP escapes from the house where he was hiding in the Santa Fe sector of Culiacan. He attempts to flee, but is later apprehended by security forces while trying to walk unnoticed. According to cartel insiders, Ivan Archibaldo leaked his location to the authorities after LP and his superior, Jorge Humberto Figueroa Benitez, alias La Paris, allegedly sought to switch sides and align with El Mayito Flaco. 2 days after P.E.'s arrest, chaos broke out at the Cuatro Rio shopping center during an army operation to capture La Paris, who managed to escape with the assistance of the municipal police. La Paris, also known as El 27, is the gunman seen in this footage from the 2019 Culiacanazo, a longtime enforcer for the Guzman family. The conflict between La Chapiza and La Mayisa has escalated to include propaganda alongside the violence. Planes from El Mayito Flaco's faction dropped leaflets over Culiacan, Navolato, and Los Mochis, accusing Los Chapitos of being mere criminals backed by Governor Rocha Moya. They branded them as kidnappers, extortionists, and snitches. Perhaps El Mayito Flaco forgot that his brother Vicente has been the cartel's biggest informant, with support of their father, El Mayo Zambada. He also seems to forget that his own gunmen have shown no regard for the lives of innocent civilians. El Mayito Flaco's military strategy has not been confined to Culiacan. Under his orders, El Grupo Flechas has advanced from Durango, attempting to seize control of the towns along the road to Mazatlan. In Concordia, Sinaloa, clashes between the 80 and 81 brothers, aligned with Los Chapitos, and Los Flechas have resulted in significant destruction. Los Mayos have also claimed control of El Dorado, a municipality dominated by Los Chapitos for years. Some fear that the conflict will escalate further, to the point where Culiacan may need to be fully militarized with the backing of the new government. Others believe that Los Chapitos may lose this battle and be forced to abandon Culiacan, but others see as the only solution to the conflict a truce between Ivan Archibaldo and El Mayito Flaco, who with their enormous egos seem not to fit in the same place. This story is just beginning. This is Illicit Investigations. Subscribe now to our channel to go beyond the headlines.